Hey guys, Sam here, and welcome to another edition of the Month of Love. Now, if you remember my old stuff, you know that I did a review on the Amazing World of Gumball Season 5 episode, The Matchmaker. Back then, I gave the episode a lot of praise. I thought it was funny, memorable, and a great beginning to Darwin and Carrie's romance. Unfortunately, the review I did on it wasn't great. That was back when I was using YouTube Capture. It looked bad, plain and simple. So, I originally was thinking of doing a re-review of the episode, but after I did some digging and thinking, I realized I could do more than that. Not only did I want to talk about this episode again to see if it held up or not, but I also wanted to talk about the sequel episode to it, or at least what I call the sequel episode to it, which came out in Season 6. It's called The Drama. Yep, I thought to myself, why not do both? So this is not just a re-review video, it's a double review. Simply put, I'll summarize both episodes as quickly as I can, give you my final thoughts on both, then give you a few fun facts, and finally, a few silly jokes. Sound good? Okay, let's not beat around the bush and get right into it. In The Matchmaker, it starts with Darwin singing a sad love song about someone he loves that's on the photo on the screen. Yeah, the song is pretty good. I'll talk about it later. Anyway, Gumball comes in and asks Darwin who he was singing about. Darwin doesn't answer and walks out instead. Gumball looks at the photo, which supposedly just shows Terry, the germophobic paper bear. Thinking Darwin has a crush on her, he decides to get them together, with some help from Carrie, the ghost girl. But there's one problem though. Carrie doesn't like it because she has a crush on Darwin. So asking a girl who likes your brother to set him up with someone else? Not the best idea. Even though Carrie agrees to help, she tries to make the plan fail. For example, when Gumball tries to set Terry and Darwin up by faking a chemical accident that will get Terry to the quarantine room where Darwin is, don't ask. A jealous Carrie sabotages the plan. After that didn't work, Gumball tries to have Darwin make the first move, asking him to show his vulnerable side by sharing some of his secrets. So he does! But not only are they awkwardly embarrassing and make Terry smirk and laugh, but it also makes Carrie pretty sad. Eventually, when Gumball tries coming up with Plan C, Carrie goes, "Why did you drag me into this? I like Darwin, for crying out loud." She admits to being upset about it, but also disappointed because she tried to ruin any potential happiness for Darwin when she should have done the opposite. Gumball sympathizes with her and apologizes for not noticing sooner. Eventually, Carrie says there is a way to get Darwin and Terry together, a love potion. After it's made, Gumball gives the potion to Darwin and Terry via love arrow, and it works. But maybe a little too well. Once they start falling in love, they immediately start making out with each other. But no matter, Gumball and Carrie got them together, Darwin's happy, and things are good, right? Wrong! Gumball finds out from Darwin that the photo on the screen was of Carrie, not Terry. Carrie just doesn't show up on film, and he originally had a crush on Carrie like she has one on him. So, yeah, Gumball made it oopsie-daisy. After he informs Carrie about the mix-up, they decide to turn from matchmakers into matchbreakers. They try numerous attempts to break Darwin and Terry up, but they all just don't work. If anything, Darwin and Terry are more in love than ever before, and are still making out with each other. Seeing that makes Carrie even sadder. But then, when Darwin looks over at Carrie for just a moment and sees her sad face, he snaps out of his love spell and goes up to her. Gumball concludes that true love broke the spell. Now, Darwin and Carrie start talking to each other, and they even start setting up a date. But they still have to deal with Terry, who is still under the love potion spell. Luckily, Gumball's archery skills save the day by making her fall in love with one of her own cleaning products. Once that's settled, the episode ends with Darwin and Carrie sharing their first kiss together. As a couple, they did share their first kiss back in Season 2, but that was before all of this. You get the point. The end, the end, the end. So, like I said the first time, I really do enjoy the jokes, the dialogue, and I do like seeing Darwin and Carrie together. And this didn't come out of nowhere. The show did build this up for a couple seasons, especially in the episode when Darwin and Carrie worked with Gumball to scam people for their candy on Halloween. It's cute, it's sweet, it's odd, but do you realize what kind of show this is? This is where odd and comedic antics go to thrive, and there is a lot of it here, and it's great. Now, I don't want to spoil all the jokes, but I will talk about a few funny things I love. First, the Love Potion music chime.
Where's that music coming from? It's just what happens when you stir a love potion.
Now, I have criticized some chimes before, like during Ridiculous Race with Noah and Emma, and the one in the Big Name Valentine's Day special. But here is why I like this one. 1, it's more unexpected. 2, Gumball's reaction to it is pretty good. And 3, it isn't completely overused. It's used a few times, but it is used well. On top of that, the different matchmaker and matchbreaker plans are pretty funny, and there is some funny slapstick here and there. When one plan doesn't work, Gumball slams his head on the desk. Carrie tries to do the same thing, but since she's a ghost, she goes right through it. That got a good laugh from me. Comedy aside, there are other things I like about the episode. The voice acting, which is funny and well done from every actor, and that song in the beginning. The entire scene looks like a music video that David Bowie would make. The visuals, the lyrics, and even the singing. The actor for Darwin isn't the best singer ever, but he is good, and you can definitely feel the emotion in his vocals.
You look at me, yeah, I might see your photo on the screen. Without you, I can't breathe. Without you.
Another thing I like is Gumball and Carrie's friendship. They go from not liking each other in season 1 because Carrie took advantage of Gumball by using his body to eat literally everything in sight, to actually getting along quite well as friends in the later seasons. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but it is handled well. When Carrie starts talking about how she feels, Gumball drops the jokes for a moment, understands how she feels, and sympathizes with her. To me, I think that's probably one of the most underrated things to come out of this show. You can actually have a platonic relationship between a boy and a girl. It is possible, guys. Now, with all that said, are there any nitpicks I have with it? Well, there is one scene where Gumball kind of insensitively shoves the supposed fact that Carrie's crush may like someone else right in her face for a little bit too long. It's not awful, just not that funny. Another thing is when Carrie tries to, I guess, scare Darwin away from Terry by possessing her and making her send a wedding invitation to him, but it makes him fall in love with Terry more. I didn't really get that. Like I said, maybe it was to scare him away, you know, no need for commitment, I don't know. But he's still under the spell. If there's anything that involves marriage, it's gonna probably make it worse. And speaking of the spell, that's my only real problem. True love broke the spell. First off, seen it time and time again. And second, it was never made clear that this is what it took to broke the effects of the love potion. If they explained it with maybe a line or two, then I could probably forgive it a little more, but they didn't, so that's a little problem for me. But aside from that, that's it. I enjoyed the episode. I liked it before, and I still like it now. Final score, 8.5 out of 10. I don't remember how I scored it last time, but if it wasn't 8.5 last time, then I'm not surprised. Okay, on to the drama. To be honest, it's almost like a sequel to The Matchmaker, because it starts with Darwin and Carrie doing couple stuff together. They may be very different, but they managed to make it work. In fact, they seem perfect for each other. But maybe a little too perfect. That's when Masami the Cloud Girl and Leslie the Flower think at school one day. They're determined to find any dirt between them, so they try to get some out of Gumball. Unfortunately for them, not only does Gumball admit there's nothing really wrong with Darwin and Carrie, but he knows that Masami and Leslie are just trying to start drama. But then, a little creature named Doubt appears. And you know how it goes. Gumball tries to ignore it, but Doubt just gets bigger, and bigger, and bigger, and bigger. Now, Gumball starts spying on Darwin and Carrie to see if there are any cracks in their relationship. The episode shows that despite Darwin and Carrie being complete opposites in some respects, like how they literally see the world and how different their personalities are, they still communicate well with each other and like each other very much. But Gumball thinks all these differences will break them apart. Then he starts losing it when Carrie's ex, Azrael, shows up, starts talking to her like they're still good friends, and they even set up a hangout with each other at the cemetery. Fearing the worst, Gumball meets up with Darwin and literally drags him all the way to where Carrie and Azrael are hanging out. Despite Darwin telling him that he knows about it and that there's nothing to worry about, Gumball still brings him along on this crazy, wacky, and well-animated ride. Yeah, I'll talk about it in a moment. By the end of it, Gumball crashes into a tree and Darwin just says, "Hello," like it's nothing. Eventually, Gumball apologizes for going crazy and Carwin, the ship name for the fishing ghost girl, forgives him. They knew Masami and Leslie messed with his head, and they couldn't imagine what would happen if this happened between Gumball and Penny. That's when doubt returns. But Gumball gets rid of it by kicking it like a football, and having it hit Masami and Leslie. Yes! Crisis averted. The end. Okay, what are my thoughts on this one? It's good, but not as good as The Matchmaker. I say that because while this episode is also funny, it has more flaws than The Matchmaker. For example, the drama does rely on one-liners a little too much. Now, there are some that are pretty good.
Before you ask, yes, I dipped my tail in the toilet while sitting. Yes, they had just disinfected it. And no, I don't know how long it'll be until it goes back to normal.
Wow, looks like an uncooked wiener wearing a fur coat. Don't you know this park was built on an ancient burial ground?
Yeah, but if you think about it, the whole country is built on an ancient burial ground.
But then you have them forced in a little in this long section with Gumball spying on Darwin and Carrie. And the exact same thing happens in every location. Gumball finds a spot to hide in, he sees a potential flaw in Carwin's romance, and compares them to something random but also relatable. I think.
Oh no, the age difference is gonna tear them apart like a dysfunctional family on a camping trip! That forgets to put their food in Ziploc bags and gets attacked by a bear.
Rinse and repeat the joke 4 times. Now, I'm not saying these moments are awful, they can be creative sometimes, but they do make the episode drag a bit, and it's clear that there needed to be some padding here and there. It's almost a nothing kind of story, which isn't bad or anything. Some shows can have those, and they can be good, but this almost feels like a come-and-go episode. You come in to watch it, you may get a few laughs out of it, and then you just move on and not really remember some stuff. It has some funny stuff in it, but to me, it doesn't have the memorability that Matchmaker has. Plus, what exactly was Gumball's plan at the end to potentially stop Carrie from cheating on Darwin? Just drag his buddy across town and get to the cemetery to do what? Break them apart? Fight Azrael? If that was the case, he would have lost. He literally goes right through him. So what was his plan? I mean, okay. I get the joke. The moment is supposed to be crazy, dramatic, and action-packed, even though it doesn't need to be. Especially when Darwin says that he doesn't have anything to worry about at all. He trusts Carrie. I get what it was doing, but I guess it just did make me laugh as much as it probably did for others. But, with all that said, there are some funny moments. I really love the bit with Doubt itself just based on its visual humor. Some of the facial expressions are pretty funny, and despite my thoughts on the climax of the episode when Gumball drags Darwin around, it can be funny sometimes, and it is really well animated. I may be spoiling a fun fact here, but I have to talk about it. This scene was animated and designed by character designer Jeremy Pyers, with assistance from Jonathan Dejab Nakando and Nicholas Dejani. Hopefully I said those names right, making Pyrus, or Pyrrhus, okay, yeah, I'm not really the best at pronouncing names, but you get the point, the 9th guest animator in the show's history. It wouldn't be the first time the show changed up its style because it could, and I'm guessing it wasn't the last. Honestly, it is really good. Even if you watch this without context, you can still admire its artistry, the colors, how it flows, and the funny facial expressions. It's a really nice sequence of wacky animation. Also, I'm just a sucker for the Carwin stuff. They really are cute together. Like I said before, I really like how they communicate well with each other. They trust each other, and they're not afraid to talk about private matters, like one of them having a partner in the past. And despite their clear differences, they do enjoy each other's company. Honestly, I think this line from Carrie sums it up best.
Picture it this way. He was like a roaring sports car, and you're more like a shopping cart. Sure, the convertible looks cool, sounds cool, and everyone wants one, but the shopping cart is filled with all the stuff you love.
Come on, you guys smiled a little just by watching that, didn't you? Hey, I know, we can't help it. They really are cute together. Also, I kind of like Azrael too. Sure, he may look like one of the brothers from Spy vs. Spy, but he has a nice voice and seems like a laid-back and cool guy. He's got some good jokes, and I'm glad they didn't make him into a jealous ex. It would have been so easy to do that, but they don't. He just likes being friends with Carrie, and that's great. So in the end, this episode is not as special and memorable to me like The Matchmaker is. But it does have some good bits, some nice slapstick, great animation, solid voice acting, and it's perfect for any Carwin shippers out there. Final score, 7.5 out of 10. I really do recommend both episodes. They both have their funny jokes, but they can also be very sweet too. Check them out if you haven't already. Alright, here are some fun facts. 1. Remember when I talked about Jeremy Pires, or Perez, or however you say that name? You know, the guest animator? Well, the guy is an animator and director at CRCR Studio, an animation studio from Paris, France. And check out some of their stuff on their Instagram pages, it's really good. Number 2. Gumball breaks the fourth wall in both episodes. The music in The Matchmaker, and when he touches the camera in the drama. And yes, both moments are pretty funny. Number 3. This face Gumball makes is a reference to Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Number 4. There's a nice callback to the Season 1 episode, The Ghost, when Darwin allows Carrie to possess his body so she can eat. Except here, she got consent this time. One does not simply enter without consent. Oh god, that sounds so wrong. Okay, number 5. Gumball's archery skills did not come out of nowhere. There are some other episodes where Gumball shows off those skills in, like, The Society and The Spoiler. And number 6, you see that Editones cover? That has some cameos from the show's crew. From left to right, it has Tony Hull and Richard Overall, both picture editors, and Sam Cassidy, the assistant editor in drag. That's both sweet and funny. Okay, here are a few silly jokes. 2 for each episode I covered.
Kinda looks like soda.
No! It's a lethal cocktail of chemicals that will completely destroy your metabolism, deforming your body until your butt crack reaches your shoulder blade.
Ah, Mountain Dew. Or Acto-Cooler. Or the Grimace Shake. What's that? You don't remember that? Well, people made a big deal out of that for weeks last year, but now hardly anyone remembers it. People just moved on to the next popular thing. Speaking of which, what is the most popular topic right now? Oh, hell no, I'm not making a joke about that. I want to keep this channel.
Once I had a bit of meat stuck in my teeth for a week. I swallowed it instead of spitting it out, and it tasted like toothpaste. And when I felt awkward, I forget how to walk. Okay, bye.
Oh, that's nothing. One time when I was in college, I was driving to my family's home during fall break. Now, I'm a GPS guy, and it was a 5-hour drive, so I put in what I thought was the home address. I went with it because it said it could take me there in 3.5 hours. So I went, okay, I'll take that. So I started to drive on that route, but slowly but surely I discovered that I was driving into Tennessee. Yeah, I accidentally put in a similar home address that exists in Kentucky. And yeah, that was a topic discussed by my family during Thanksgiving. And Christmas. Ah, shut up, it happens. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you every Yankee fan's mindset before the 2024 season.
I don't have any doubt.
Are you sure? Are you really, really sure?
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you how every Yankee fan will be if we win the World Series this year. And that about sums it up. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of both episodes. Did you like both? Like one more than the other? Or did you not care for either of them? Whatever thoughts you have, let me know down there. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, my name is Sam, and good night, everybody.